world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Whistle Talk. Mike D, the referee, coming back at you. Being joined tonight by a friend of the show, Mr. Mike Vandervelde. How are you, sir?
Good. Welcome. Looking forward to it. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just enjoying the night off tonight from any activities, which I know Mike's got to get to himself. So try to make this one short and sweet for everybody out there. But before we dive into our fun topic tonight, got to do that reminder. If you're enjoying the show, hit those hit those subscribe buttons, hit me up, Mike D, the referee at gmail.com. If you got any questions about anything we're doing, thumbs up, thumbs down, middle fingers, all that fun stuff. I take it all. But yeah, and if you know anybody that's enjoying the show, share it on out so that we can continue to spread the good word about what we all do here as football officials. Got some great shows coming up. Got a really good one here today for you all. So being joined for, again, those people that haven't heard or seen Mike before with me on the show, coming from the Big 12, coming from the Natty, the national championship game this year, and also what you have a quarterfinal game too this playoff season.
First round.
First round, okay.
Yep.
So first round game, and then the big one, the national championship game. And now also, well, not now because he's been involved with it, but coming up this week, the UFL. Mike, what's happening, buddy?
Not much, man. Just getting ready for some spring football, getting some extra snaps this 2026 spring league. So looking forward to getting things going. But yeah, just rocking and rolling, man. How many? I got to ask you a question before we get rocking. How many shows have you done now since we started?
I'm over 100 now. I want to say I'm pushing 110, I think.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
That's
So if
awesome.
anybody needs some help falling asleep at night, you can listen to the soothing tones of my voice.
Right. Right. Love it, man. I
But
love it.
yeah, I've broken the century mark. I kind of lost track, and I'm not gonna lie. Mike came through for me in a pinch today because I just texted him earlier today about jumping on because I've been slacking here because well, it's the spring season and my kids' sports have completely overtaken me right now
I can relate.
with everything that I'm doing. So.
Absolutely.
But I love it. I love it. But yeah, I got a little bit of a downtime for me. But and Mike's ramping up because the UFL season starts, what, in 3 days from when we're recording this?
Yeah, Friday night. What, March 28? What is it?
Yeah,
27th, I think.
the 27th. Yep.
Yeah, I think the 27th is opening day for the UFL season. So looking forward to it. Maybe it's Saturday. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, ready to rock and roll on March 27th. So yeah, man, it's
Good
gonna be good.
stuff. Looking
Looking forward
forward
to
to it.
it. Yeah.
And for those people that aren't familiar with the UFL, what is it? We're in year 3 now with the combination between the UFL and the XFL. The merger happened. Is this the third year?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. This is yeah, coming up on year 3 now. Yep, for sure. So yeah, it's
And
been a good run, man. It's been fun. Spring football's been around for what, 4 years, consistently now since
mhm.
COVID, and it's really, really taken off. Just being out there and kind of that. Hey, it's around every spring, and looking forward to kicking off again this week.
Yeah, and it's not a gimmick. I mean, you're getting some really good football games out there, and for you, like you just talked about, getting some more snaps, getting some more field time. So it's great stuff that's going on. You guys are still 7 man, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
We will still work seven person mechanics out there. NFL mechanics really is the design behind most of it. Now we'll do some, exploratory mechanics that will pop up, during the season just to try some different things out, just to, get ourselves in different position to see plays, evaluate plays, really use it as an opportunity for a case study for the NFL, but also just for us from a college standpoint too, as well, just to kind of see, where positioning, gets us the best look and things of that nature. So we get to explore a little bit from that standpoint, and, looking forward to doing that again too.
And for those that haven't watched a game, and if you're an official, if you're a coach out there, or if you're just a general football fan, I, I can't recommend this enough to watch these games in the spring. Because we got football still, so
Right.
for that point only, it's fantastic to me. But from the officiating side, you guys do some great stuff behind the scenes. I love the challenge. I love the conversation, like with Dean Blandino and Mike Pereira on the headsets and on the screens discussing all
Hmm.
the different things, all the different replay type things. It's not just that private conversation now. It's fully exposed for everybody to hear and hear the banter that you're having back and forth with the headquarters going on with those plays. So it's really a great behind the scenes look, and it truly helped me out a lot. So I know can't hurt. Um, which kind of leads us into our topic tonight, Mike. I wanted to talk to you about, because you mentioned it before. You guys do a lot of new things or introductory type of things that I know the NFL kind of piggybacks and bounces ideas off of the UFL to kind of take a look at different things. And primary example is going to be the kickoff. The
Yeah.
change in the NFL kickoff
Yep.
was a direct result of something that the UFL was doing.
Yep.
Um, and I love it. I still don't truly understand it,
Mhm.
all the nuances to it, but I
Yeah.
haven't dove into that rule book just yet. But it's definitely something different. But I know this year you guys got some other new things coming on board. So let's start off there, Mike. What do you guys? What can we expect a little changes wise?
Yeah, I mean the dynamic, to start with the game, right? The dynamic kickoff is going to be back again this year. This year they're going to move the kicker back 5 more yards. They're going to be at the 30-yard line, and then we'll move the setup zone up 5 more yards closer to the 50-yard line. So it'll be the 40 and the 35, creating a little more space for that kick returner to, you know, be able to get to full speed, essentially. And so, the landing zone will still be, the 20 to the goal line, and the kickers are going to try to place it there and kind of figure some things out from that standpoint. We also are allowing 4 players on the receiving team to kind of be in that floating zone. So now they don't have to have, I guess it would be 7 up on the or 6 up on the restraining line there. So they'll have some ability to kind of move a little bit more freely, allow them to kind of get to full speed and get, hopefully get a better starting initial, starting drive position so that they can, potentially score a few more points per game. And I think that's really the drive for the UFL this year, is to create, more of a dynamic offense, more opportunities to score. And I think all of the rules that they have changed, or added or tweaked a little bit really reflects the fact that they want to see, more scoring. And so I
Mhm.
think that's the cool piece of all of this. And starting with a dynamic kickoff, I think is going to be a big piece of it. So hopefully we see some big kickoff returns, and which will then be some great opportunities for some scoring for some teams, especially if they can get it beyond that 35-yard line. Statistics show that the increased scoring average is a lot higher when they can get it to that yard line. So, that's kind of the goal there. So we'll see how it translates. And I know the teams have been working pretty hard the last couple of weeks, just trying to put things in place that way to, you know, get that rocking and rolling for the first week.
Yeah, and again, I gotta admit, I didn't truly understand the rule at first, but then watching the games, watching the UFL, and then watching the NFL this past season, the return aspect, the fact that we had kick returns again was just something that was fantastic to me as a football fan. Just being able to watch, remembering guys like Devin Hester and going
Sure.
back, Billy White Shoes Johnson when I was growing up, like some of the great returners in the game that we had, it kind of was getting pushed away. We weren't
Yep.
seeing them anymore, and well,
Yep.
now it's boosted it
Yep.
back up.
Yeah, 100%. If look, if they if they blast it through the end zone, right, and it's a touchback, then the ball is going to be placed at the 40-yard line. And so again, they're getting that additional advantage from that perspective, and vice versa for the return team. If they don't catch it and it lands, in the landing zone and then goes to the end zone, they're going to be, at the 20-yard line or whatever. So, that's going to penalize them from that perspective, and hopefully that way they're not punting and, turning the ball back over to the other team and giving them field position. So really enticing some returns here. So hopefully the kickers will get them into the landing zone and we'll see some great plays.
So do you think moving back to the 30 is going to help keep the ball in the landing zone more because
I think
they're not
so.
normally
Yeah.
booming it out?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. We'll see. I think that's part of the reason why they're putting it there. And the kickers have plenty of leg to get it there. And, we had a scrimmage or joint practice a few days ago, and that was no problem. I mean, we saw about 10 kickoffs, and each time they were in the landing zone, no problem. So, and that was with some wind too. So you had some factors there, impacting that. So, yeah, it'll be good. Looking forward to that piece of it.
So now a kickoff out of bounds, where are they going with that? I mean, I know it's rare in the professional leagues, but
I believe we're going to put it at the 40, if I'm not mistaken. So
okay.
they're going to start there, 5 yards further than what we normally would see.
Yep. Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm looking forward to seeing that aspect of it, and hopefully seeing some good returns there.
Yeah,
So another interesting one, and I was looking on the website and trying to catch up here. A 60-yard field goal,
yeah, 4-pointer.
4-pointer.
Yep,
That's going to
4-pointer.
be interesting because with that one now piggybacking, no punting inside the 50.
Yeah, once they cross the 50-yard line, they are going. So, let's say we get into the B 48-yard line, we have to get on the O2O and communicate to the crew that look, there's going to be no scrimmage kick from a punt perspective,
Hmm.
coming from that standpoint, even if there's a 5-yard penalty or 10-yard penalty on second or third down. So even if they end up going back to the other side, they'll have to go for it on fourth down. So either we'll see really, really long field goals for 4 points, or, we're going to see a lot of fourth down plays that, will be right at the line to gain and, trying to keep drives alive for that offense. And, if they don't get it, then the defense is right there at the 50-yard line and they got a short field to go and score. So again, creating great opportunity for teams to score points.
And it's just going to be a natural turnover on downs. If they don't get it, it's not going to go to the 40-yard line automatically or anything like that.
No, wherever they're down in the succeeding spot, and we're going to rock and roll.
Nice.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing those 60-yard field goals and consequently the kickoff returns off of that, the returns from R and possibly the blocks because
Yeah.
you're gonna see some more low line drive kicks to get more oomph into it.
Yep.
You get those big paws in the middle. All of a sudden, now you got a scoop and score scenario happening. So again, it's going to keep you on your toes being back there.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's even the best part of it. We talked about it as a crew the other day, just some of those nuances and, even just the analytics that the coaches are going to have to think about. What might they do choice wise when it comes to penalty enforcement in those types of scenarios, especially if it's on, the defense and they're on the plus side of the field, and all of a sudden you got, fourth down and he's kind of in that range for a, 4-point play. Would they take the risk and push them back 10 yards to try to go for two more plays before they get the ball back? I mean, there's going to be some gamesmanship that goes back and forth that, we're not used to. And that's some of what we talked about last week was just, being flexible and kind of thinking about, hey, presenting all the options to the coaches. And like you kicked off earlier, I mean, they're going to be listening in, on TV and listening to those conversations. So, looking forward to that. And fortunately for our crew, we're kicking off week 2, which is even better. So we get to see the dress rehearsal of everybody going out week 1
Nice.
and kind of see how it goes. So I'll be tuning in this week, watching the games pretty closely and see how it plays out.
Yeah, and now you said you guys have in the league itself. There's 8 total crews. You got 8 teams, so there's 4 games a weekend. You guys are rotating basically every other weekend for games. So for those that kind of missed, Mike and I were talking before we recorded. So
Yep.
didn't want anyone out there. How come he's not working week 1? What the heck?
Yeah.
He must stink.
Yeah, absolutely. Already got suspended week 1, so no. No, I just, and to your point, I mean, what a great setup, that we have from that standpoint. Eight amazing crews that are going to go out and work this year, and just have an opportunity to work every other week, and 150 snaps or whatever it ends up per game, and just great opportunities for everybody to get after it a little bit. So, and manageable, right? I mean, it's not 10 straight weeks where you're grinding through a season again, and then getting into the college season, into the fall. So really great setup. Love how they got it, designed for everybody from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now you get to spend a little bit more time with the family too in the spring season, which is
Absolutely.
always a bonus. Definitely good stuff. Back to the kickoff really quick. Mechanics wise, where are you set up as the R on a kickoff?
Yeah, that's going to be a different, another great question because it's setting up different for us. So we'll be exploring that. I will be in the middle of the field, right there on the goal line. Typical standard as we would see for 8-person mechanics, normal kickoff type setup there. Same thing, line of scrimmage will be right there at the goal line, 5 yards up, and then they're going to alternate depending on where the kick ends up, if that makes sense. So they'll kind of fluctuate depending on the angle of the kick. Umpire and back judge are going to be in the back field behind the kicking team,
Hmm.
and they're going to work from an inside out perspective along with the deep wings, kind of in that standard position that you would normally see for them. Um, but again, previously with the NFL mechanics, they had the umpire and the referee on the goal line, so they're changing that up from that perspective. So that'll be kind of cool, and just hope that we can get our eyes in the right spot to eliminate any potential misses that we would see from an offensive holding standpoint.
So, and the reason I wanted to ask that, ball gets kicked into the end zone. Is it an automatic touchback or it can be returned out of the end zone?
Yeah, they can return it if they catch it in the air. If it's grounded, then it's going to be dead there, and that'll be a
Okay.
touchback that we'll put at the 40. So, um, yeah, yep. So I got some flexibility there from that standpoint, and if they do pin us, right at the goal line, I'll kind of mirror and piano away from wherever that catch is, and then that opposite line of scrimmage official will box it in on the or on the goal line there, just in case something happens and we got that goal line covered.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the reason I'm asking is NFHS rules, we're perched on the goal
Yep.
line, so if the ball breaks that plane, we're killing it.
Yep.
But NCAA, you're typically on the back on the end line
Yep.
because you got to make sure that nobody steps out of bounds in the back of the end zone. But being you're trying to get the goal typically is to get the ball into that landing area. That's why I was wondering where your setup would be.
Yep. Yep.
So another rule that I saw in here that this one, being the Giant fan that I am a big proponent of this one. The
Mhm.
league has banned the tush push.
Yeah. I can understand that from where you're living. That's for
Yes. So no longer well, I mean, I still have to deal with it as with the Eagles and everything like that since
yeah.
twice a year. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It had nothing to do with the Eagles component, although that doesn't help the scenario. But I'm not a fan of the tush push itself. As a traditionalist, I guess,
Mhm.
go play rugby or whatever it may be. But as a former short wing, that short yardage play is such a bear to officiate. And then I know the controversies that we're going over with the false starts and or the defense causing them to jump, or
Sure.
was he down, not down? It seemed to be more of a headache for the rest of the NFL other than the Philadelphia Eagles. Um,
Uh,
but official wise, also.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just, little language change there for us. You can't push now. So, that's really just from a definition standpoint. I'm trying to think back to the last couple of years that we worked in the UFL and XFL. I don't really remember seeing a lot of those short yardage situations where that was a thing. So,
Mhm.
really just added one word into the definition, and we just won't see that push coming from the backside. So, no push, no pull, that kind of stuff from a short yardage standpoint. So, um, we want to see a real overt action on that. So, I mean, you still might see the quarterback sneak and that kind of thing. We're not going to see that back come in there and drive the quarterback and push him
Yeah.
in the backside. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out, and see how that goes through the next first couple weeks of the season here.
Well, and because we all know that this sport is 100% a copycat sport. So when you see something working successfully on one level, everybody's looking to try it. And it did have the trickle down effect all the way down to the high school level. And we're like, Coach, that's illegal. Oh, what do you mean that's illegal? I just watched the
Yep.
Eagles do it. I'm like, yeah,
Yep.
they're playing on Sunday, Coach. You're
Yep.
not.
Right. Yeah, Federation, shoot, they've had that in there for probably what 3 or 4 years now. So maybe even a little bit longer from the
I was
from the
going to say,
push
no, yeah. Well, the
or aiding
push
the
has
runner
always
or
been
whatever
the
we
aiding
want
the
to call
runner.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
So,
old push going
yeah.
like that, getting them going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always been banned. But
Yeah.
the bigger one that we've been seeing more so with the federation is going to be the pulling, like
That's right.
that other guy grabbing and
That's
pulling
right.
them forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, the aiding the runner one has always been
Yeah.
in there, but they clarified it with because we were seeing offensive line go
Yeah.
back there, pull the guy forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Little point of emphasis there. I
oh
know
yeah.
as of recent. So
Now another rule change for the UFL, which kind of aligns to what you've been doing with the collegiate sport, is the 1 foot inbounds. Were they previously NFL style with keeping 2 feet inbounds?
yeah, they had the 2 feet NFL catch rule the last couple years, which is good. I think I, I mean, if it's a tight catch on the sideline, I think that's going to help them, work to get that 1 foot in bounds. Um, just hope, that way that, we're not overturning too many calls from that standpoint. I think that's probably one of the areas that, they evaluated in the offseason that said, hey, we probably had, X amount of catches more had we allowed the 1 foot down in bounds versus two. And so, again, promoting scoring, promoting offense, from that standpoint, I think that really helps, just add that to the game. So, yeah, 1 foot. So we'll be pretty locked in on that. That won't be a huge change for us mechanically and all that kind of from that standpoint.
And I got to say, it's just something that always boggles my mind of watching these kids, men, whomever it may be, toe tapping the sidelines while focusing in on the ball, while about to get
Yep.
blasted to get the ball separated from them, and just keeping those toes somehow. Just the awareness, it's just mind boggling. So I love this rule because I agree with it. Let's reward them for making a spectacular catch along the sidelines the best we can.
And I see them. They're probably going to work 2 feet too, as well as much as they possibly can, because I know, they want to, show off a little bit and get some tape on, their abilities, especially with the hopes of, getting picked up for training camp or anything along those lines. So, we'll probably see a lot of two toe tap catches, but if it gets them outside that frame a little bit and they got to make some work, they'll tap that little right foot down in bounds and call it good. So
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. And listen, I think 99% of the population that you're going to be dealing with in the spring league is going to want to do it as NFL as possible for
right,
that purpose of getting the film and trying to showcase themselves and getting invited to the camps and then doing it all over again. But yeah, it gives that little leeway to award those spectacular catches by, oh, that one toe didn't hit the ground just
right,
enough. But
that's
yeah,
right.
and I know with watching the NFL games this past year, there were a couple of controversial, you could say, because social media got a hold of it. Controversial calls that weren't really controversial, but where the catch was ruled the catch for certain reasons. And I know I went over a couple of them on the show here with guys getting 1 foot inbound, second foot was inbound, but then there was a slight bobble and things like that. So I think it helps out with that aspect of the game. So trying to think, there was one more other rule change, I think. Oh, extra points.
Yep.
Is there a change with extra points? What do you got going on there?
Yeah, we'll see. Again, looking at different options from the coaches and what they're going to value, it's going to be kind of a unique thing the first couple of weeks just to see what the trends are. But the traditional 1 point try will be from the 15-yard line, kicking through the uprights. So that'll be back into the game for us, which we've not had with the XFL and the UFL in the last couple of years. So that's one piece. We're going to have the 2 point try from the two as an option as well, and then the unique excuse me, the unique piece would be the 3 point try. And this year it's going to be moved up to the 8 yard line. So, will coaches use that 8 yard line as an opportunity to, score a few more points where, last year was the 10 yard line for a 3 point try. So, we'll see from that standpoint. I'm hoping for a few more 3 point tries just to see it. Last year we saw a lot of 2 point tries, from the five. So we'll see what they do this year. So, those are the three options, and once they elect what they're going to do, there's really not going to be any opportunity to switch those options.
Okay.
Even after a penalty or anything along those lines, they're going to be pretty well locked in on that unless they burn a timeout for some odd reason, after a score and after we marked it ready for play. So, yeah, once they pick two or three or one, we're going to go with it and see what happens.
So in previous years, it was only two or three were the options, and it was from the 5 and the 10.
They could do it was from the 2. They could do 1 point try from the 2, a 2 point try from the 5, and a 3 point try from the 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was just it was no kicking. So
No
it was
kick.
just
Yeah. Yep.
so that all right. I like that. So now moving it back to the 2 yard line for a 2 point play, and then the 8 yard line. I'm interested to see how the 8 yard line one works because as an old offensive coordinator, the closer I got to the end zone, the tighter the playbook got. So maybe the 10 might have been the better option, but it's a good way to see what the coaches do and how that all plays out because I know they're going to look at the trends and their data and
That's right.
see what goes. Now, red zone penalties. Is there any change with penalties in the red zone? It says half the distance going to be enforced.
Yeah, we'll go back to standard half the distance. So, inside, that'll happen. Previously we were going the full distance, marking them closer, but going back to normal penalty enforcements that we all see, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. So, penalty from the 8 yard line, we gotta, hold or whatever. We'll go half to the 4, or,
Okay.
go from that standpoint. So,
And then the last one, overtime format, kind of switching up a little bit this year.
I still think we're doing the innings.
Okay.
So everybody, they're gonna have the three, the three basic, three opportunities to score, and go from that perspective. So, one, top half, bottom half, the offense, or offense, and then defense, and then they have, that opportunity to
Okay.
score and try to basically like penalty kicks, from a soccer standpoint. So,
Yep. I like how you refer to it as innings because
yeah,
that's how my crew and we all talk about it is top of the inning, bottom of the inning,
yep,
and switching it.
yep.
All right. So let's talk about some challenges and how that's working in the challenge perspective. Because is it the old red hanky that we're seeing in the NFL for challenges?
Yep, yep. Red Hanky coaches will have it. They'll challenge one play, during the game that they feel is something that they can address or look at. Um, there's been a few tweaks. I think we're getting away from, challenging a false start, a DOF, some of those, at the snap type fouls that, we're not going to allow them to challenge those fouls. They can challenge, fouls downfield, DPI, OPIs, those types of situations, from a live ball standpoint. So that's going to be good. They get one challenge, and then back in the studio, uh, Dean and Mike will be doing, all the other, natural replay, catch, no catch, pass fumbles, scoring plays, all of those traditional plays that, will be challenged, without a challenge flag. So, we'll take care of it from that standpoint, and they will relay the information when we need to make a change, from that standpoint. So,
So, do me a favor, if you don't mind. Walk me through a play. Let's say a play along the sideline we were just talking about. If it's ruled to catch, but it was actually incomplete, he didn't get 1 foot in. So,
mhm.
how would the process go? Be to get the information to you, and then to get you over to the screen, the monitor.
Yeah, the nice thing is we don't have a screen. There's no need for the monitor. So Mike and Dean and the team back in, LA will be looking at it real time, and you'll hear from them. Stop the game. We're gonna reverse this, or you're gonna hear something that's gonna cue us in, and they'll say, "Hey, slow down on this play, Mike. We're gonna take a look at it," and then, you know, all of a sudden the TV will then kick over to those guys in LA and kind of talk to them about, what they're seeing and go through the whole replay process. And that's where, the shots are on Mike and Dean, and they're talking about which camera angle they're looking at, and that kind of stuff. And then Mike or Dean will relay that information back to the referees, and then we make our announcement, as to, after review, it's an incomplete pass, whatever, it's at the second down at the 32-yard line. And so, people at home will already hear the ruling from those guys, and then we'll just repeat it to them in the stadium. And the good thing about the stadium too is that they'll have the jumbotron with the actual live footage of, Mike and Dean talking about it as well, hopefully. So they'll hear it too just ahead of the referee's announcement. So pretty seamless process. The timing aspect of it, and we're right into it right away. And it's, Mike and Dean have a really good idea of what they need to look at and process and go from there.
Okay, one last question for you. I know you got to get rolling here. You got a baseball game to get to. Um, what if a team is running a hurry up type of style of offense and they're looking to get right on the ball, or they don't want to give the opportunity for it to get looked at? How are you guys working that?
Yeah, we're on the 0-2-0. Hey, they're going fast down here, and that'll cue them to, just stop it real quick. And from a ball mechanics perspective, we'll take our time. We know when they're tight plays, and so we'll go a little bit slower, and we'll pace it out to the pace that we've been going as well. So, relaying it from the sideline into the umpire. I'm gonna take a look at the play clock to make sure that the play clock is in the same position that it normally would be, so that the team doesn't really necessarily have the opportunity to game the system from that standpoint. But the O2Os are a great communication device that will help us to navigate that question too. And hopefully we'll stop the game if we need to. And Mike and Dean have done an excellent job in the seasons that we've worked with them thus far to get that shot right away too. And so there's the art of replay. Is the efficiency of pulling the right camera right away and having the look that you need to make that determination. So, I love that part of it. It's a good piece, and it keeps us away from the monitor, which is, okay, because that usually just formulates, the replay response or the replay, communication that I'm going to give anyway with an announcement. So, we'll have that on the jumbotron, so we'll be able to, hey, after review, it's an incomplete pass, second down, and away we go. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah, man.
that's all that I got, Mike. Is there anything that I'm missing that you can think?
No, I mean, it's like you said, you hit it early. There's a lot of great pieces that are added into the game in the spring, for us, and just the added value from an entertainment perspective. You get an inside information. The right, the wrong. There's a lot of pressure on those conversations that we have, on the field, and they're as natural as we can get them, right? But it really gets officials inside on what we're doing on a normal basis, and
Yep.
that's the challenge, right? It's a great learning tool for us. It helps with my communication and how I deliver and that type of thing, and I think I've learned just a lot watching other people work and how they've communicated with other crew members, and so. I think that's the viewership piece of it is having that opportunity, and then seeing how replay can be that efficient. And the players are solid players, or they play the game well, and the energy is there. And we're in some really good venues. A couple new venues this year in Louisville and Columbus, and Orlando's back on the map. And so I think we're going to have some great fans out there, and buying into the teams and the league itself. And so. Really looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a fun time, and again, it's football, and get to learn and get better every day. So, looking forward to it.
Great stuff, Mike.
Yeah.
Once again, truly appreciate you taking the time. I know you got to skirt out and get to some baseball now, so putting on a different hat.
Right, man. Kid gets to play a little bit tonight. It's 75 degrees here. Sun is still shining, so. That 6:30 first pitch is going to be a good one. So we're looking forward to watching them. Hopefully the team will get a win tonight.
Awesome. Well, Mike, where can do you have your assignment for next week yet?
We will be in Columbus
All right.
on Friday night. So first inaugural game in Columbus. Looking forward to it, man. Gavin DeGraw is going to be there for a halftime
Ooh.
concert. So I mean, it's going to be good, man. So
You're gonna be able to sneak out during that halftime show.
we got 12 or 13 minutes for halftime. I don't, maybe it's a quick halftime anyway. So, it's gonna be a good time. Hopefully we'll get some good weather up there in Columbus. And, I know they're looking forward to, kicking the season off too. So
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Well, Mike, thank you again. Appreciate you, and good luck. And let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. And if not, let it roll into another championship game for you, right into the Big 12 season, and back into another championship game.
Yeah. Just got to stay off the radar, man. Just keep working one snap at a time.
That a boy.
Yeah,
All right,
brother.
Mike. Good luck tonight for your son, and best wishes for everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.